Jacob, a name many recognize, Israel, a name nations still carry. But before he became the father of 12 tribes, before he became a symbol of covenant, he was a man wrestling with fear, identity, mistakes, and destiny. Today, we uncover Jacob's hidden journey, the struggles Scripture hints at, the emotional weight between the lines, and the lessons his story offers to anyone learning to trust God through uncertainty. Jacob entered the world fighting, grasping his brother's heel. His name meant supplanter, heel grabber, one who struggles. Before he ever deceived Esau, his very identity was a battle growing up. Jacob watched Esau strong, favored, wild, and confident. Jacob stayed among the tents, quieter, observant, strategic. Some ancient Jewish writings suggest Jacob often wondered, does God have a purpose for someone like me? Jacob's early struggle wasn't just with Esau, it was with who he believed he was. Yes, Jacob took the birthright and the blessing. But he also lost everything because of it. He fled his home. He left his mother, who loved him dearly. He walked alone through the wilderness with a past he couldn't undo and a future he couldn't see. Jacob's deception didn't make him powerful, it made him hunted and humbled. Sometimes, our greatest mistakes become the very doorway where God begins his greatest work of transformation. One night, exhausted and uncertain, Jacob laid his head on a stone, and heaven opened. He saw angels ascending and descending, a living bridge between earth and eternity. God spoke not with anger, but with an unbreakable promise. I am with you. I will keep you wherever you go. I will bless you. I will not leave you. Jacob wasn't perfect. Far from it, but God wasn't finished. This divine encounter was Jacob's first real step toward becoming Israel, a sign that his destiny was greater than his deceptions. Jacob then spent 20 years under Laban, a master manipulator, and his own uncle. He was tricked into marrying Leah when he had worked for Rachel. His wages were changed repeatedly. He lived under constant negotiation and tension, a daily struggle for survival and fairness. But this season was more than just survival. It was a silent training ground. It was training for patience, for wisdom, for perseverance, and for leadership. Some scholars say Laban was Jacob's mirror, revealing his own past behaviors back to him. Sometimes God allows us to walk through what we once caused others, so we learn compassion, humility, and restraint. On the way back to face his estranged brother Esau, Jacob was terrified. He sent his family, his flocks, and all his possessions ahead. He remained alone by the river Jabbok. And in that deep loneliness, he was confronted. A mysterious figure wrestled with him until dawn. Who was this man? An angel? The pre-incarnate Christ? A divine messenger? Or was it a spiritual confrontation with his old identity? The message was clear. Jacob didn't just wrestle with a being, he wrestled with his past, his fear, his guilt, and his future. As the sun began to rise, Jacob, though wounded, refused to let go. He clung on, demanding a blessing. And he received one. His hip was put out of joint, and he walked with a limp for the rest of his life. But this limp became his reminder. True strength is not in winning the fight on your own terms, but in refusing to let go of God. Even when you are broken, his weakness became the very source of his new strength. The divine being then spoke, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men, and have prevailed." The name Israel didn't mean perfection. It meant the one who wrestles with God, the one who persists, the one who becomes through struggle. From this man, this wrestler, came 12 sons, 12 tribes, and a nation with a covenant that would shape the course of human history. Jacob's journey wasn't clean. It was complicated, painful, and deeply human. His story shows us that God uses imperfect people, It shows us that our mistakes do not disqualify us from our purpose. It teaches us that true transformation requires confrontation, both with ourselves and with God, and most importantly, it reveals that blessing often comes right after our wrestling. Jacob became Israel not because he was flawless, but because he refused to walk away from God even when wounded. And sometimes the limp becomes the testimony. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more stories of transformation.